Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're here tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway here for the Underdog Racing League for their Xfinity Series for race number 3 of the season. As we've had a spectacular start to the season, it's going to be fun to see how it all kicks off here at our first mile-and-a-half event. And as always, the Underdog Race League is brought to you by Ultimate Gutter and Siding LLC. Make sure you go check them out. It's always nice to have a house to call a home. But thank you everybody for tuning in here tonight. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth. Joined alongside me, as always, on Wednesday nights is Carl Pooler. We have our producer Robert Moyer Jr. up in the production box. But back here for the Underdog Race League, Carl, here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. One of the best tracks for this, especially this V-car style Xfinity racing. I think we got a special race on hands for us here.
Definitely, Zach. These cars are fast and nimble, but we've been watching practice here for a few minutes now, and definitely loose around the corners. It's going to make for a fantabulous, amazing race for 120 laps, stage breaks at 30 and 70 laps. So a lot of people racing, and still early, but always talking about those stage points. We know Jason Fensler had a rough outing at Talladega at the end of the race, so he is already starting and already having to climb his way up the chain here to get to the points leader, but our leader Mark Whitley looks to keep on his pressure and keep his momentum strong after his win to Talladega. Right now at practice we have Jason Fensler at 33.4, Mark Whitley 33.45, and then Matt Job at a 33.54. So these cars are fast and flying around this track.
Yeah, definitely some great times being turned for sure here, Carl. That I want to see how they can carry that here to qualifying. So we got about 2 minutes before we head into that 5-minute qualifying session here tonight at the Underdog Race League. And you know, the biggest thing in my thing is we got some newcomers to the league. You know, starting off with the season opener last week. I said this is week 3, but technically is the second week since we had the Clash to start off 2 weeks ago. But here at Homestead for the second race, we have Mark Whitley kick it off. He's a newcomer here and get that victory. I'm excited to see as we got more and more newcomers coming in. Another big name has come in from our other leagues. That's Cedric Hunter. He's a past champion at the NAISCC Cup Series, so we'll have to see what he can do here. He's thrown into the mix, and it just gets stronger and stronger each week, and it's just good to see the numbers here at the Underdog Racing League growing.
Definitely, and I'm seeing 30 cars come out and race, everyone looking to keep their line clean, but this track is definitely loose, and these cars are having trouble keeping traction. A lot of these drivers are going to be looking their way to maneuver away through traffic, as I see a couple of guys spin out on turn 4 going down the front stretch. So really chaotic. A lot of these drivers are going to be really challenging and really trying to manhandle these cars down the track, especially through the corners. Corner exit seems to be a really tricky spot on both ends of the track, so all these drivers not going to be able to rest and relax as they work their way through the field and fight each other over those valuable points in the first couple of stages.
Yeah, I'm interested from the driver's side of the point of the stand view. Also, is the moving line. Where is going to be the fast groove? Is it going to be the bottom? Is it going to be the top? I think it's going to be both ways, personally. I could see anybody working their way into each groove and feeling better and more confident up top than down lows, where we'll see some drivers make speed down there, and that's the beauty of this track. And one of the things I think iRacing simulates so well is being able to now find speed all over this racetrack. I mean, there's plenty of area for you to be able to find clean air and somewhere to make some time here. So I'm interested to see who's going to find that primary line as we head here after practice is over right now into qualifying.
And we've been watching these guys in practice. They've been running the high line. They've been running the low line. For all you ladies and gentlemen watching, you know the Larson line. A lot of these guys have been trying that, but they seem to get sucked up into that wall, and they can't make it through without crinkling up that quarter panel. So a lot of these guys, we know Homestead can wear the tires out, especially those front tires. You get a little too hot in the corners, you really burn up that front tire. So I think especially early on, it's going to be tire conservation. But as we watch the number 14 of, I think that's Scott Kerber, go out already early on in this qualifying run, trying to put down a fast lap. Track position is going to be crucial as always, but especially here, we've seen some issues again out of corner exits. You want to be in front of the problems when they happen. Of course, qualifying can help you do that, but also keeping it clean and just playing it smart, Zach. I think strategy is also going to play a factor. 60% fuel load, fuel and tires, Zach. How do you think it's going to play out?
Yeah, I think at the stage, the way they're timed, that 30 lap stage there at the beginning should be very easily done. I think 60% fuel load, these guys should be able to make that first stage with confidence. The second stage will be interesting because it's more likely going to be around 36 laps. That's where I start to worry as a driver a little bit, and I think that'll be close. They definitely are going to have to make a pit stop in that final 50 lap run, which most likely once it all gets separated by pit stops and caution laps, you'll mostly be around 46 to 44 laps left in this race, and they'll definitely have to make one then. So strategy is going to come into a factor here if we don't see cautions fly here tonight to kind of bring in a different strategy. But I tell you what, very well from looking back last season, some of the data, we didn't have a caution other than the stage caution. So I could very well see this race playing out a green race where you're going to have to make a green flag stop in that final stage. And that's a tricky stop too. That's not a crazy long run. Normally with 100% fuel load, we're running that full distance out. But with this 60% fuel load here tonight, you can see some guys doing some major undercuts, maybe some major overcuts. So we'll see how it plays out. But there is possibility out here tonight that these drivers have to play with.
And that's going to be interesting too, because we did see last week some drivers have issues during those green flag stops on stage 3 at Talladega. So we always know that it can be an issue. But I think if we continue with that trend and keep a green flag run even through stage 3, a lot of these drivers, it's going to definitely shake up the field and really put the pressure on these guys to have to perform perfect entry during the pit stop and then exit. You don't want to overshoot. You don't want to speed. You don't want that black flag. So definitely important to keep everything together. As it looks like we're riding along here on a really, really fast track as we watch Mark Whitley jump up to the top with the 33.58, and that is the number 11 machine running around. So here we're getting a little loose there out of turn 2. So again, I think corner exits, these walls are going to get a workout, and a lot of these cars are going to get stripes as we see Trevor Earhart again with that struggles on the corner exit there. So here we are riding with Trevor Earhart trying. Looks like got a little loose there in turn 4 too. So none of these drivers, we know Trevor Earhart has the speed and he is fast, but none of these drivers 100% comfortable with corner exit.
Yeah, it looks a little bit hairy there for sure, and a little bit loose for these drivers to be driving here. As drivers putting times down all throughout the board, but Mark Whitley, strong lap, like you said there from him. And look at that, Jason Fensler on his second lap, he says, I was 7th on the board. I don't like that. He's going to raise the bar and go to the top of the leaderboard there by 400th over Mark Whitley. Great lap by Jason Fensler there. And even Dylan Walterman in that 99. He's a driver that I think you got to watch out for here tonight. He ran 4th in this race last season, and he can very well be very strong. And it's not surprising also to see James Loveland in the mix there. He ran 2nd to Jason Fensler, who dominated this race and led 96 laps. So no surprise to see him up top there also.
And fantastic run for Loveland. He's not had the best of luck. I was there, ended last season. Things kind of got away from him. This season, he had a couple of issues, ran into some things at Talladega. But with James Loveland, we have Grant Thorpe, Jacob Sirkovich, and Joey Stiers. We said Joey's name a lot during Talladega. He had a lot of strong runs, was a really aggressive pusher. I'm really curious to see how aggressive he's going to be here at Homestead in a really, really abrasive track with those tires.
Right here watching is James Catrone. He's putting down some laps here for his qualifying. Right now he's 15th on the board, and right now what I believe he's doing is just running some extra laps, getting a little bit of practice in, as you can use this time very wisely here as we look to be closing it out. But right behind me, it looks like Cedric Carter's going to be in 16th and Parker Johnson there in 17th. So really close times throughout that whole entire field from that 10th position all the way back to 20th.
And it looks like James Catrone is trying to ride that really high line around the entire track. His qualifying wraps up. Here we are at Homestead Miami Speedway. Freaky fast, beginning of lap 120. But as we pull up our grid here at Freaky Fast, we will see Jason Fensler in first, Mark Whitley in second, Dylan Walterman in third, James Loveland in fourth, Grant Thorpe in fifth, Trevor Earhart in sixth, Jacob Sirkovich in seventh, Joey Stiers in eighth, Robert Rader in ninth, and rounding up the top 10 is Ian Baker.
In the 11th position, it's going to be the 89 of Matt Job. 12th is going to go to the 21 of Christopher Heights. 13th is going to be Nick Alves in the 24. Ryan Twanham will start there in 14th. Catrone's going to be in the 15th position. 16th is going to go to Cedric Hunter. 17th is going to be Parker Johnston. 18th to Blake Cook. 19th is Jake Williams in the 40 machine. And rounding out that top 20 is Tyler Dingler in the 19 machine.
And then continuing on in 21st position will be Brad Ringer. 22nd is Martin Morales. 23rd, Kevin Orlando Jr. Cody Dorsey in 24th. Justin Stunnard in 25th. Peyton Presley, 26th. Justice Murphy in 27th. 28th is going to go to Scott Kerberg. 29th, John Magner. And rounding out the whole field at car 30 in the 26th machine is Eddie Wildermuth. So we have a really strong turnout here tonight at Homestead Miami Speedway. 30 cars on a mile and a half, and it is a little slick on corner exits, so this is going to be really fun. Zach, what do you have a prediction for tonight?
Oh man, prediction is great racing. I think that's first of all prediction that I know is 100% going to be a fact. But I'm going to be looking through first a couple of these drivers in the rear of the field to start to drive up. Maybe not have the best qualifying spots. Let's see who those big comers and big movers are throughout the field. It's going to be an exciting one to watch as they spread out across this mile and a half here and try to find the grip.
And the grip is going to be so important. We've noted it before. People were running low, people were running high. They're going to go typically early in the run. I think the low line is going to prevail with the new tires, but as the tires wear and the tires get warmed up, that higher lane is going to get its momentum and get the grip. But the question is, how high are you willing to go? You get too close up there, you can get kind of sucked up into that wall. You lose a lot of time and maybe even take yourself out of the race. So as we're watching the 5 start warming up, those tires on the backstretch, looks like going into 3. Lights on the pace car are out as we get ready for 120 laps at a Homestead Miami Speedway. The 5 of Jason Fensler, the 6 of Mark Whitley had some great racing last week at Talladega. And as Barney gets the green flag out, the pace car makes the dive down to pit lane, and the green flag is in the air, and it is waved. We are green here at Homestead Miami Speedway for the Underdog Racing League.
Oh, a little bit of a stack up back there in mid-pack as everybody looks to make it there safely down into 1. And what a crazy show here. It's 2 by 2 all the way back to the 30th position.
And they are fanning out nearly 3 wide by turn 2 exit. It looks like these cars, oh, we have an incident down the front straightaway. Yellow out, we have the 23 of Joey Stiers. Looks like he bounced off the outside wall there down the backstretch. So incident early here at Miami Homestead Speedway.
Yeah.
So definitely looks like incident early for the 23. Sad, but here we go. Re-rack. We didn't get a good start on that outside line, so interesting. Jason Fensler was able to pull out there, but didn't get reeled back in with the pace car, Zach.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it back here at the pace car. Sorry about that, everybody. We won't be able to show the replay there as that right there was a little bit of a network issue. So, unfortunately, our cameras are not going to be able to stay on board with his car. So, yeah, it looks like the 23 of Joey Stiers there, like Carl was saying, is going to be going to the rear field. And that was definitely some, we'll say technical issues there for that side of that wreck there. Is definitely a lot of network going on there. Unfortunate for him. I don't think really too many other drivers caught damage there just due to the fact of the network issues there. I think mostly everybody got through that pretty much unscathed here other than the 23 of Joey Stiers. So that's just unfortunate for him, really.
Yeah, and I guess that's good for everyone else. No repairs, no fast repairs are going to have to be taken. So we'll be able to launch off here in a couple of laps. But as we get everything going together, Jason Fensler already out to his old tricks, out to a good sizable lead for that first lap with that corner exit of coming out of 2. So Mark Whitley needs to start kind of timing that, maybe see if he can time that, get to his door panel a little bit earlier, but definitely had an issue or a couple issues on that outside lane on that restart.
It is always interesting to see how it fires off, which lane is the best there on that first initial takeoff phase, because the tires had to come into a little bit of a warm-up there. It's it's going to be a definite interesting issue there for these guys as they get down to 1 on the colder tires, and this restart here only going to make them a little bit colder, so it's going to definitely extend the life of the tire, but at the same time make the tire a little bit more unpredictable here as it starts to heat up once we get back green. But yeah, Jason Fensler able to jump out there to the lead. Great job by him. Ultimately was able to take that 3rd spot and hold on to it. Grant Thorpe there in the 77 machine. What a great job by him there to go from 5th to 4th. That's already a great start for him. As yeah, that coach right there definitely kind of held everything up there. But man, we're going to get it back going green here in a few, and I think this race is going to be spectacular. And also getting a little information from the chat, 32 to 34 is what they're looking like supposedly out there for the fuel lap window. So that makes that second stage, like I said, that'll be around 36 to 35 laps. A very close possibility. So we're going to have to see how that all shakes out as the night goes on. But man, stage one should be easily done on fuel.
Definitely thinking about stage 2 fuel strategy as we watch the lights on the pace car go out. They are side by side. We are on the ready to go green as they come out of 2 on the backstretch. But these guys already knowing that their tires are going to be really critical in them moving forward and how aggressive they are. Jason Fensler got off to a great start, but from what I've seen, he also can run the long run if it's given to him. So as we watch these cars go down the backstretch, and it's interesting to see he was warming up those tires, prepping for this restart. So it's interesting to see how all these drivers are reacting. I didn't see Mark Whitley go side by side very much, but as we are going along, we had the green flag out once again. Lights out on the pace car. Pace car is going to make the hard left onto pit lane. Green flag out. Here we go at Homestead Miami Speedway. We are lap 4 of 120. Stage end at lap 30. We should have enough fuel, so here we go. Green flag out, and we are running again at Homestead for Underdog Racing League. Jason Fensler off to another great start. Shot out of a cannon as they go into one. Dylan Walterman making a move to the inside of Mark Whitley on turn 1. So here we are, Mark Whitley. 2 starts, 2 no-goes for him. Zach, I would be a little worried at this point.
Yeah, luckily he powers off the top there as that bottom lane. Very powerful through the corner, but Mark Whitley, huge run off the top from that high side. Look at this. Jason Fensler, he already switches up from the bottom. He goes straight to the top up here in the lead. This is going to give Mark Whitley a little bit of a run here on the bottom, but that outside should fire off the top pretty well here as he's going to lead lap number 1.
And that is interesting to see. We saw Mark Whitley have to take the outside line as we see Jason Fensler. Looks like he's going to go inside again on 1 and 2. Mark Whitley's going to trail him trying to get that draft. But turn 3 and 4, they both went opposite ways. That just proves how important open and clear air is for these cars going into just making grip even early on. These tires are cold. They're still warming up. And we see Jason Fensler go down low. Again, Mark Whitley, we have a train down low, but I have a feeling this line is definitely going to move its way up as these tires wear and warm up. These cars are really slick. Ooh, it looks like we see the 99 of Dylan Walterman maybe try and bounce off the outside wall there a little bit. So already these guys are really pushing it to the limit.
I think we're going to see a lot of right sides with the paint wore off from here tonight as the race goes on. As you can see, everybody looking for grip there as the battle continues on there. James Loveland on that 56. He's got the 77 of Grant Thorpe on the outside there, trying his best in that 56 to get his track position back that he qualified. But that outer groove looking strong right now as you got Robert Rader and Trevor Earhart battling behind him with a 3 of Sekovich not too far behind.
And it looks like the 53 lost a lot of momentum coming out of the corner. He had to get out of the throttle a little bit as Sekovich makes a move going into 1. Definitely interesting seeing some of these cars already move up. We were just on the bottom a couple of laps ago, really. So here we are already in the middle groove. Going side by side, a lot of these guys really pushing both ends of the track and both ends of their car to really, they're really diving it in there, warming up those tires. Watch the 3 of Sekovich go really high there, and the 53 go below him, and looks like they're gonna go side by side. But as we're watching 99 and Dylan Walterman all alone, again 3 of Sekovich got caught up again with the 53. So as they go into 1 with Christopher Hutz, the 21 right behind him. Ooh, is it 21 may think about going through wide, but Reed thinks it's a little early on as we are on lap 9 of 120 here. Remember stage end at lap 30. So a lot of these guys going until the stage end because we can make it on fuel and tires.
This is great racing. We got here behind that Ian Baker trying to make a spot up on the 21 of Christopher Heights. He gets a little bit wiggly. That's going to let the 24 Nick Alves get the run. And here comes the 13 of Cedric Hunter on the bottom here as he works that groove. He's going to be working up a few more spots from his 16 star spot. That'll be 11th.
And here they are all fanning out. We see a great representation of all 3 lines, especially in corner entry. They kind of funnel out in corner exit, but corner entry is really wide open for these guys. And I think it's a lot of also just trying to find the clear air as we see 38 of James Caltrone kind of make an inside move. We see Parker Johnson on the inside of 48 there, on the inside of Kevin Orlando Jr., the number 27. So a lot of these guys trying to make moves. Tires are coming to them. A lot of well, we're seeing some really aggressive blocking there going into one, but so far everyone's keeping it clean and not a lot of issues at the moment. Zach, I think these guys are just trying to figure out their cars and figure out what grip they have throughout the race.
I tell you what, they better never tear down the Homestead Miami Speedway. This place is a beauty to watch racing drivers compete on. And man, they're everywhere finding grip. That's all you can ask for as a driver. I'm sitting here and I'm jealous, Carl. This is fun to watch side-by-side action, slipping and sliding, trying to find the grip. And this is when you see passing happen, when these drivers are uncomfortable, when they got to figure out how to get the grip together. As the 3 makes contact with the 38 of James Catrone. Looks like Catrone went there a little bit deep, slides up into the 3. That shows the 3 up. He slides back a few spots.
And definitely a driver's track, Zach, because we saw a little bit of an issue there with the 3 of Sirkovich as he gets passed by the 48 of Parker Johnson, the 89 of Matt Jobe right behind him. So he is having his hands full, but definitely an outside line. Oh, he gets loose again coming out of 4. He has an issue with that car as he bounces off the wall too. He cannot get it gathered up as they kind of bunch up behind him and next to him as you go 3 wide into 1. Wow, this is great racing here from the Underdog Racing League at Miami. These guys are really wheeling and dealing and trying to get around each other, trying to get around everyone that's made a mistake. We saw the 3 of Sirkovich as we see the battle heat up between the 21 and the 53 as the 24 gets fans up there in the corner exit. So a lot of these guys still with their hands full. At this point, are you worried about tire wear, or do you think it's all just still warming up?
So tough, this is a 30-lap run, so tire wear is going to come into factor. In this track, it will very much use the tire wear, and I would be worried, but at the same time, you got that stage coming at 30. If you start to struggle, it's only going to be for, I'd say, 8 to 10 laps, and it wouldn't be too bad of a scenario. If you're going to try to gauge the tire wear and see how hard you can go tonight, stage 1 is the perfect opportunity. That's why you're seeing a lot of guys going for it here early in the going.
Stage 1 is always a great opportunity to test some things. Only 30 laps out of 120, the first part of any kind of race. So stage 1 is definitely where you want to try something. If you do make a mistake, something goes wrong, you have the rest of the race to redeem yourself as we are riding along here. And we're going down the backstretch. Looks like Ryan Twinem with 31 machine, he is trying to take the inside away, go dive really deep into 3. He seems to hold it on the inside, but man, that really warms up those front tires, and he comes on the corner exit still not free as we see the 38 of James Catrone kind of steam by him on that outside line. So it looks like that outside line is for the most part where you want to be. Oh, as you see, just lost the car into the wall just a little bit. Ryan Twinem goes, he's able to gather it up, but it looks like he's going to get passed by the 48 of Parker Johnson as well, and a gaggle of cars behind them. So already one mistake can definitely cause you a bunch of issues later on down the run.
Oh, one mistake can definitely pile up, that's for sure, Carl. Now you can see Tyler Dingler there in the 19. He's looking to pull himself farther up there in his position, along with Blake Cook there, and the 4 machine is really from, I would say, the 10th position on back. That's been our best racing all night. Everybody been changing lanes, looking for grip, and moving forward. As it still is Jason Fitzner and Mark Whitley who have pulled out by a country mile here, now 2 seconds back to third of James Loveland.
And these guys were going really hard at each other. We were at lap 17. Stage ended at lap 30, so a lot of these guys with points on the line as we ride along. We're watching the 56, or 25 of Trevor Earhart. He was last year's champion. He is currently in 4th with Dylan Walterman right behind him in 5th. I don't think Trevor Earhart got the qualify lap that he really wanted, so he's already starting a little bit further back than he would have anticipated, but already making a good run. He started 6th, up in 4th now after that pass on Walterman. It looks like he's trying to gauge a little bit of distance between him and Walterman as well as he sets his sights on James Loveland there in the 3rd position. So he's looks like he's doing all right and keeping everything in check out of these top 4 cars, but everyone else behind him, we're looking at 21 of Christopher Heights, or 13 of Cedric Hunter. They've been battling hard for a couple of laps. The 24 of Nick Alves right behind him. really pushing hard. As we see also the 53 of Robert Rader. So a lot of these guys really racing hard for the last couple of stage spots in this stage, really, because we know all the top 10 get points. Even 1 point can make the difference, as we noticed last season. So definitely these guys between 7th and 11th really trying to put on a show for us and racing for every point they can get.
Definitely right. 2 points is what separated our championship at the end of last season there, with Trevor Hart clutching up, winning that championship over Jason Finsler the 5, who was dominant through the regular season. But Trevor Hart was dominant during the right portion of the season. You know, we talked about him possibly trying to get up there to get him closer to his teammate. He was having such a great run here, or really the last few mile and a halves we had, as being the one of the fastest cars on long run pace here tonight so far. Not showing the fast slower paces. Jason Fields is really starting to show a lot of speed. But I tell you what, also James Loveland, he is right there along with Jason Fields with long run speed, and that 5, he's gonna be tough to beat after leading almost 100 laps here last time too.
And we know the 5 is hard to beat, but I'm looking further on back here. We have Cedric Hunter. He started in 16th. He's up in 8th. Christopher Height started 12th, up in 9th. A lot of these guys are moving up, making moves. Robert Rader kind of on the move to 2 spots from 9th to 7th. A lot of these guys, as we see the 24 of Nick Alves goes around the 8 as we ride along the 8, but Ian Baker making the move back into the inside. But that 24 in the outside lane is going to have a little bit of momentum on corner exit to make that car go a little bit faster down the front stretch. But right now they are really door to door and really pushing each other hard as we're riding along the 53. And we see them go along again the inside line. The outside line seems to be okay for a little bit, but that inside line is the shortest way around the track and looks to have a lot more of the drivers where they want to be. As we see, as I say, that Robert Rader goes a little high, then again back down low, but definitely these guys are really trying to find any grip they can as he makes a move on the 99 of Dylan Walterman. Really strong move there. So these guys, I think Dylan might have burned up his tires a little early on in the run, but there's behind the 53 of Robert Rader, there's a 13 of Cedric Hunter wanting to make a move too. So Dylan Walterman going the wrong direction later on in the stage.
Yeah, Walterman definitely starting to falter here a little bit as he had a major run there off the top. Cedric Hunter was able to close that off as he took the position also in the 13. And, you know, you brought up the point about Cedric Hunter. He drove from now 16th up to the 7th position. Looks like he's going to try to follow Rader through here for 5th and take that 6th position from Grant Thorpe as he's side-by-side now with that 77 machine. The 13 is going to be one to watch out for, and especially in these long runs. I don't think he's going to have that pace compared to Finsler and Mark Whitley up front, you know, just take off raw speed. But when it comes to long run pace, we see this 13 be very strong, especially at this racetrack. He won the championship here on Freaking Guys Broadcasting, being super strong at this racetrack. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him marching his way a little bit farther up the board and possibly challenging later into these final stages.
Definitely a one to keep an eye on. The number 13 is Cedric Hunter. He's made arguably one of the most dominant marches up through the field this race, from 16th to 6th at the moment, and really filling up the mirror of the 53. That inside line, he seems to get in a little bit better, roll it better, but the 53 has a little bit better corner exit. So I think it's going to be a chess match between these two, who can get position on who and where, honestly. I think corner entry is where the 13 really wants to get to 53, as the 13 goes outside, outside of his typical inside line, maybe trying something a little different, but that clean air, I think, is just making such a difference. As right there, he has that momentum. The 13 going to make the cross across inside the 53. Robert Rader going into 1. So strong on the inside line. The 53 going to ride that high line, try and make the momentum come out and work for him on the corner exit, but looks like the 13 is going to get in front of him. Great pass, but the number 13, the Cedric Hunter, is 53. Not going to let him go so easily to going into 3.
Oh, the 52 tries to get closer to him, but makes a little mistake, slides on the racetrack. And, yeah, I think that was just a power move from the 13. And looking even in his traffic times, in traffic, he was running similar times to our leader and quicker than everybody else in front of him. So I'm telling you what, this 13, he's got something figured out, especially on the bottom lane. A lot of guys have moved up. They've lost the grip on the bottom. They can't find it there. They're trying to go find speed and make it somewhere else. While the 13, he's making it all right around the bottom and then setting his passes up using the outside. That's one of the critical things. Be quick on the bottom, set the pass up with the outside run. And man, once you can do that, you can get clear people. And you can see Mark Whitley. He's not afraid to use every bit of this racetrack here to make speed.
Mark Whitley is trying everything in his arsenal to make speed and catch up on the 5, but with about a second between the 5 and the 6, it doesn't look like it will happen at the stage end. But he's right now, like you said, Zach, earlier, stage 1 is the stage where you want to try stuff and really experiment, have your car come to you, maybe try that outside line. You can come up and get patched up here in a couple of laps, but he's really pushing that wall over almost. He's running that Larson line, as they call it. So he doesn't seem to be losing any time. So I think that's a bonus. He may not be gaining time, but as long as you're not losing time up there, I think that's all you can hope for. But as I say that, it looks like he's going to drop about 4/10 that lap. So maybe not quite what he was looking for, but hey, you tried something, didn't work, move on to the next thing.
Yeah, definitely going to have to try things if you want to catch this 5 machine. I mean, we've seen it last season. This thing's a rocket ship out front, and when he gets out front, it's hard to beat him. He's controlled much of this stage so far as we go round out 3 and 4 here, and we'll be taking that white flag, I think, for this stage.
And that as this is happening, we're seeing the 53 under attack by the 8 of Ian Baker. Ian Baker started down in 10th. He's trying to make the move in the pass into 6th, past Robert Rader. We saw him have a little bit of speed a couple of laps ago. He was able to fight and keep off the 13 to Cedric Hunter for a little bit, but the 8 is already burning up the bumper. He wants those stage points. As we see, we are on lap 30. Jason Fensler going into 3. We should be coming around to complete lap 30 and to start lap 31. So here we go. Right around now, we should be seeing the caution flag come out for stage. But right now, there's a race between the 53 and the 8. 8 can't seem to make the pass. But as we see Jason Fensler go down into 1, starting lap 31. So here we go. Again, the caution is out for stage. Second caution. Right now, we have Jason Fensler in first, Mark Whitley second. Not a big surprise there. James Loveland in third. He's been fast. Trevor Earhart and then Cedric Hunter in fifth, one of the newcomers. So the top 5 filled with a bunch of great drivers and a bunch of great racing ahead of us.
Definitely has been a bunch of great racing for sure, my friend, and we are going to see it play out here in the next 2 stages also. As Jason Fensler was able to bring home that first stage, I think we're going to head to a commercial break up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and we'll be back in a few moments as tonight's race here at Homestead. What a race has been through stage 1. Don't miss out on the rest of it.
And we are back here at the Underdog Racing League, Homestead, Miami. We just saw and witnessed stage one. We saw Jason Fensler take it and really lead every lap, even with the caution with the first lap incidents there on the backstretch. So Jason Fensler already with a demanding lead on this track. Zach, we saw a lot of good racing, a lot of learning, a lot of lines being used low to high, and everything in between. I don't think there was really one preferred line one way or the other. So I like to think these guys know they can push it a little bit further, a little bit harder. A lot. I think that wall there on the outside is also going to get used just a little bit more.
Oh, I definitely think so too. As the night goes on, you're going to have to find more and more speed. As looks like they're going to get them double filed up here as when we're taking that one to green. But man, I can't wait to see this now. We've had some big movers throughout the field, and that's what this track promotes. I mean, look at Cedric Hunter. He's broken to the top 4 now, 16th to 4th for him. Brad Ringer, can't forget about him, 21st to 7th. And then also, I'm looking back there, Martin Morales Jr., he's drove from 22nd to 12th. And also Eddie Wildermuth, 30th to 14th. So we've got some guys on some missions here tonight to drive from the back of the field up near the front. And, you know, that you got to applaud the Homestead Miami Speedway. Like I said earlier, whoever built this track, congratulations, because you built a masterpiece, and it shows not here only on the sim, but also in the real-life racing we see here. So I can't wait to get this back going for the stage. Also got to remember, this right here is at the completion of lap 70. So right here from lap 35, even though we had a few pace laps, this right here is going to be 35 laps to that point. We heard from a few people 32 to 34 was the window, so we may have to see pit stops even during this stage.
Already fuel strategy starting to shape up here at Homestead as the lights are out on the pace car going into turn 3 side by side. I think Barney's going to have that green flag and holding it tight because these guys are going to go just buzzing through right by him, really. We saw 5 at Jason Fensler. We know he's fast. The 13 is Cedric Hunter. Definitely fast as well from 16th to 4th in the outside line. Mark Whitley does have issues on the restart, but the pace car makes a hard left turn, and here we are down the front stretch, green flag in the air, gas pedal on the floor. Here we go. Looks like Mark Whitley not getting a good start again. He's going to actually get a shove from the 13 to Cedric Hunter, but it looks like the 56 to James Loveland is going to get him really tight on the inside, but we go. Looks like they don't touch and contact free coming out of 2 side by side, and these guys following the leader down the backstretch. Cedric Hunter in 3rd now, so we're already moving really quick. And the 5 at Jason Fensler already breaking away.
Yeah, and again, like he did on the last restart, he goes to the top side to build up the speed here to start the race. And what a beautiful lead. He's already got 3 car lengths back to Mark Whitley. But look at Cedric Carter, like you said, you broke it up. He's up to 3rd now for him in that 13 machine. We'll see what he can do as we got another cautioner to start off this stage.
That is interesting. Looks like that fuel strategy isn't going to be as important as we thought it was, with another caution early on in this stage, another caution break. So looks like these guys under the pace lap should have enough fuel. We're going to go to the Freaky Fast instant replay to see the incident. We are looking the 2 and the 38, the James Caltrone. Looks like the 19, Tyler Dangler. Oh, looks like the 2 got in the wall, and just the accordion effects. They could not avoid each other. Oh no, that's 3 cars, and as they spin, hard contact under the inside wall. That's going to be some fast repair, I would believe. I don't think these guys can make much speed after that without one.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, fast repair territory. No front clip there, and that's unfortunate they're going to be using it this early. And Morales had such a good drive up into the top 10 for that 2 machine. That is so unfortunate for him.
And always got to be careful again, you know. Track position is important. You don't want to get caught up in there, but that was just a bad timing, bad place, bad time, just everything wrong about that situation. So, but these guys already having a run again amongst themselves. Jason Fensler, we have another restart coming. Mark Whitley cannot find the grip or not find the power on the green flag here. So definitely something to be interested in. We saw Cedric Hunter behind him actually get a better start than he did. He was pushing him into turn 1. So we're going to see the 13 on the inside lane behind Jason Fensler. We're going to see how much speed that this 13 really does have, but looks like he's going to try and come into pit road, maybe do something a little odd on strategy here come the end of stage 2.
Yeah, I think he's just rolling around the access road right now, just being center cutter, and he's worked his way up to third, and this is going to be a spot for him here now. This is going to be a interesting little restart if he can get that jump like Mark Woodley's been struggling on these restarts. That 13 could be looking to jump forward, but I think Jason Fizzler's just had all these guys fooled on that restart and has just been timing it so well, and that's just superior racecraft from that 5 machine, and what a job he's done so far in this race to put on another dominating performance of the Homestead Bobby Speedway. I mean, that's just something he really likes to do, it seems like.
And he's always seems to be the fast one. And once even with the 13 run on the apron, it's shorter way around the track. That's going to conserve droplets, but droplets can help you finish the race. So you never know what can come in handy till it does. The 13 already playing games and already trying to get that field strategy maximized. So good for him. Definitely need to do whatever you can to keep up with the 5 of Fensler and the 6 of Whitley. These guys are fast tonight, and maybe strategy that topples him. You never know, and he's prepared to take just about any kind of step he can. So good for him. And these guys are rolling around already, trying to probably save fuel anyway, because you never ever can be 100% sure if you can make it, even though numbers can mean a lot, but you never know what could happen later in the run, really.
Yeah, and I think that's where you're seeing him take that shortest distance. This is going to be close. That's 32 to 34. How close is it in between 32 and 34? I mean, that's a big difference. That's 3 miles there that could separate the difference, and that could be the reason that they don't make it. So kind of interesting to see that not many people, I mean, there was a good group that came and topped off, but not too many crazy people come and topped off, and I would have thought that would have been a very smart strategy to pull, to top those cars off and be completely sure you'll make it and be able to run it completely, to the bone dry. So, man, interesting scenarios, but I tell you what, fuel mileage can always make a race very, very wild.
And we're seeing it now, catching me off guard a little bit. You don't see that very often, but looks like these guys are going to get side by side, 2 by 2. Lights are out on the pace car. So yeah, we are 1-2 green right now. These guys definitely getting ready. Again, the 13 of Cedric Hunter, he has come from 16th up to 3rd. The 6 of Mark Whitley not getting the greatest restarts, so this could be an interesting combination. Seeing the 13 and the 5 nose to tail and see if these guys can have the speed for each other. James Loveland in the 56. We see the 25 of Trevor Earhart, last year's champion, right there too. So a lot of fast drivers at the front of this pack, Zach. I have a feeling we're about to really see some fireworks.
Oh, I think the fireworks are about to be lit, my friend. That's for sure. This is going to be a wild start here. Jason Fitzgerald out front. He's been in control the whole time. Like I said, Cedric Hunter there, he's looking to put a stamp on his debut. I mean, you see Mark Whitley put a debut win in at the Underdog Race League last week at Talladega. Can Cedric Hunter pull off the same thing? He's going to have to go through that 5 machine. He's been unstoppable up to this point.
And definitely want to make a stop for him as we are coming out of 4. The pace car going to make the hard left onto pit road as he goes. We are riding along with the 6 of Whitley, and here we are. The green flag is out, and they are on the throttle. Another great start by Fensler, but Whitley got a better start than last time. So Jason Fensler already taking that outside to swooping to the inside. It looks like the 13 is going to be the inside of the 6 car as we see Robert Rader get past the inside as we are behind Mark Whitley of the 56 of James Loveland. So these guys are already fighting hard. 13 still inside the 6, but it looks like he may have the edge. 13 goes by the 6 of Mark Whitley on the inside line. Looks like he's going to make the pass and finish, and Mark Whitley doesn't have anything for him on corner exit. So here we are, the 13 from 16th to 2nd in 43 laps out of 120 here at Homestead.
What a climb it's been for the 13 machine. I can tell you that from the driver's standpoint. It is not easy to do here when you got this many tough competitors. And Cedric Hunter has shown that 13 has the speed. Can he get up here and have a challenge with that number 5? I don't think he will here. Like I said at the start, I don't think he has that raw, just take off, take the lead pace right at the beginning of the runs. watch this 13 as the run continues on. I think it'll be something to watch for, especially not having to pass anybody. He'll be able to definitely set his tires up more primed for this run. He's going to be a tough one to beat. Is Whitley. We know how tough he is here each week. It's going to be fun to watch him. Is back here now. Ian Baker trying to hold off that 27.
The 27 of Kevin Orlando Jr., he's been kind of mired in the middle of the pack. He's actually made a little bit of headroom for himself. The 25 Trevor Earhart in front of him. He's been on the march, and they are really racing hard. It looks like he almost gets into the 53 of Robert Rader, but it looks like the 8 of Ian Baker's going to actually make the pass on Kevin Orlando Jr. for that spot. So as they go down the front straightaway, oh, I'm sorry, it's Brad Ringer there in the Nerf scheme, but Ian Baker makes the pass either way. These guys are really up on each other, bumper to bumper. Looks like from 5th on back, so a lot of good racing, but again, Jason Fensler is not getting away from Cedric Hunter. It's a pretty even quarter of a second pace as we look along with Tyler Dangler. He got into that incident earlier with the 38s, the 24, Kim Alves on the outside of him. So these guys, again, the fanning out, trying to make time and trying to make passes on each other.
Yeah, it's been a great battle between Tyler Dangler and Nick Alves here as he's been able to work the outside of the 19. But Dingler's been a good bottom car here so far as he's trying to work his way forward for that 20 starting spot again. Another big move for him, and this 19 looking strong to start out the season. Ooh, there comes Stunner around the top there in the 33. That was a big run from him. As this top side, it seems to work for a bit, but then everybody seems to migrate down low as we continue.
And as the night goes on, the track is going to cool down. That inside line is going to develop more grip, and I think right now these guys are figuring that out. Again, like you said, that outside line can only go for so long. Is the 33 Stunner, we haven't talked about him long or very much today, but he's quietly making his moves forward and just slowly and methodically getting his way up towards where he really would rather be, up to right around the 10 position mark for those stage points. As he again goes low, we see the 24 outside of him really take that high lane, but he cannot make the pass on the 24. Ooh, maybe brushes the wall there a little bit too. So it looks like Stunner's trying to get every inch and every amount of performance out of his car as he can.
Yeah, he definitely is showing here. And also got to remember, I believe we've seen some type of an interesting finish like this to a stage before. And I believe that was around Las Vegas playoff time when everybody couldn't make it to the end of the stage. They all started saving. We see drivers take the lead that we just didn't even expect. They drove from the 20th position all the way up to the lead. I think you're going to see a little bit more of a stack up here as a few guys are looking to save that fuel to make it to the end of the stage. I don't know if how confident Jason Fensler is right now, but he's definitely got a few car length gap. If he wants to start to save here in a little bit, I think that's possibly why he's building it up.
Yeah, I don't think any of these guys are watching, though, or saving much fuel. They are really dicing around each other through the corners. We see him 2, 3 wide sometimes going in and out of here. The 38 of Catron, the 11 machine going inside of him. There's the 99. Looks like Dylan Walterman. He had some issues in the last stage. Looks like he is mired back out there, so he has some work from him. He was fast earlier today as well. But as we watch these guys keep grinding, keep going through the finish, we are at lap 50. Still have about 20 more laps until the stage ends. So about halfway through this stage, we don't think fuel is going to be an issue. But do you think the stage is going to mix up strategy at all?
I think it's going to. I think the strategy is going to be something we can't predict, really. I think this is going to be something that is going to surprise us possibly if people can make it. First of all, if they can make it and everybody's confident, they're going to the end of this stage. And then from there, it becomes a one-stopper under the green flag. Is, oh, man, I think the 76 of Brad Ringer, he gets up to the wall back here. He's actually going to drop back a few spots there in that 76, but has the 27 of the car here. But, yeah, I really do think that the strategy, if they can make it, it's pretty clear-cut. But if that chance of not making it starts to get more and more certain, I think you'll see a few guys start to peel off here possibly pretty soon if they feel like they're not confident.
And definitely interesting strategy as always, but we just saw the 76 of Brad Ringer have an incident. I was looking at Mark Whitley. He is down into 5th, having issues. He got caught up into something, had to get out of the throttle. So Mark Willie having some struggles about midway of this run. But Justin Stunnard, he's doing really well up there. It looks like in ninth, trying to get those stage points. But here we are, Mark Willie, Robert Rader on his bumper again. The 25 at Trevor Hart getting in front of the 6. So the 6 having some issues later on in this run. I wonder if it's just he pushed it too hard earlier or just something else not going the way he wants. But as we see the 13 in front of the 56, our second and third place cars, the 5 we see has checked out quite a bit, but these guys are really on top of each other. There's really no other gap besides first and second, so great racing. The 25 getting really close to the bumper blow, and they've done a lot of racing together these past couple of months. As I've noticed, they've raced around each other a lot, so a lot of these guys trying to get the edge on their other opponent and the other competitors.
Yeah, it's always something as a driver you're looking for to find that competitive edge, and right now the competitive level is just mind-blowing. Right now our top 10 separated only by 2.2 seconds, and really it's all the way back to around, I would say, the 18th position before the line of cars we have ends, and it's impressive. I do think this is a sign of fuel saving. We see more disparity in between the time, more guys pulling away from each other. I think possibly if you guys, to save fuel here is not only, pushing the clutching, doing that, this and that, it's staying in the draft. Lifting and coasting is one of the biggest things you can do in iRacing. Just lift a little bit earlier, coast a little bit longer without the throttle on, and you will save a ton of fuel here. And that's why you see differing levels between certain driving styles. And certain driving styles save more fuel than others do. So we'll see which driver can master that style. As it's, like I said, very stacked up here in this top 10.
And we saw the 13 get to the bumper of the 5. I think that would also be another case of that fuel saving. It was about 5-6 car lengths, but now we see the 13 has only about a car length between them. I think fuel save is going max at this point. Lap 56, a lot of these drivers would know have a better picture anyway of what their fuel situation is looking like and how far they can go. So I think a lot of these guys are getting in line and using that draft. But as we're riding along with James Loveland, there is a little bit of patience. We've seen him kind of pick his nose out there, trying to get some of that clean air to help that downforce on that front edge of that car. So these guys really not making any moves, but I'm seeing the 53 of Robert Rader making a move on the 6th inside of turn 1. Well, it looks like Mark Whitley's going to be on the high line there. Is he going to be able to make the pass, though? Really Bull talking about fuel save, and no, he cannot make the momentum. So this guy's trying something, but it's just not working out for some of these cars. That outside line prevailed once again there between the 53 and the 6.
Yeah, Mark Willie, a little bit of struggles here in this run. Definitely, you brought up him dropping back to that 5th position here now. He's just not looked as quick. Maybe I thought it was possibly a tire saving strategy. Drop back a little bit, not use as much tire. But he seems to be in threat of Robert Rader here taking the position, and he's going to the top line. This is something we've seen as his tires started to wear off the first run. He started to move up top to try to find some speed. Right now, he is under attack from that 56, who's had good runs on the bottom of that 6, just holding on with that top run off the corner.
And then you have the 8 there of Ian Baker right behind him. Ian Baker making a halfway decent run as well from the 10th, still trying to move up. Right now, with the cars the way they are, if you make a mistake, if you tap the wall, if you have to get out of the throttle for anything, you are going to lose 2, 3, maybe even 4 spots. As we saw earlier with the 76 of Brad Ringer, he made a mistake and he lost a good chunk of time to the leader. So you definitely want to keep these guys and keep the cars clean and straight, but also not overworking and work the tires. Looks like the 53 is kind of stopped on his charge for the moment on the 6th and making that pass, but behind him is the 8s. They've all kind of strung out a little bit. It looks like we see coming into the frame the 89 of Matt Joe coming there too. So these guys, you make a mistake, any one of these other guys are going to jump on it. So you always got to be careful running this track and getting that really high line. You tap that wall. Aerodynamics is so important. You want to keep it straight, so don't want to have any damage or any kind of issues on that back corner.
Yeah, aerodynamics are vital for sure here, and as little of a rear spoiler we have, you want to have as much of it as possible. If you could gain a centimeter, you would take it for sure, because that will definitely add downforce and grip to that race car. But Right now, everybody's battling the same thing as we jump through the field here. This is Kevin Orlando Jr. back here at 15th position, starting at 23rd spot. This is the true 27 here, as Brad Reed's got the 27 on his car also. But this is Kevin Orlando Jr., and what a great battle he's had up to here, because I noticed he was running around 21st here at the start of this run, so he's moved up a few spots as the run's continued on, and definitely looking to move forward here in this 27.
And then behind the 27, we have the 80 photo of Cody Dorsey. He started in 24th. He's up to the 21st, so he just kind of ran around. Looks like that his car's been clean. Hasn't been in any major issues at the moment. But making sure these guys are running clean. There's the 21 of Christopher Heights. He was running up front in the beginning part of this race in the early stage, and he is mired out here. And then back, we saw the 23 of Joey Stiers. He looks like he has recovered from his connection issues early on in the race, so good for him. And then always being able to get back in. Again, this is a huge field, 30 cars. 29 cars are on the lead lap. The only car not on the lead lap is Ryan Twynham, when we saw him have that issue earlier in the race. So all these cars still on the lead lap. Joey Stiers making a move on the number 4 machine. So always trying to stay wherever you can. Never know when you need that lucky dog. They have the stage coming up. The 99 of Dylan Walterman, he was also one of those cars. He qualified 3rd. He ran up front for quite a bit. Mired now back in the 25th position, so right along with him down the backstretch. Unfortunate situation from him. I know he made one of those mistakes and he lost a lot of time. I think he may have had to even repair some of that damage on that last pit stop. So he's looking to hopefully use some strategy and maybe turn this race around for him.
Yeah, Walterman, like I said, had a great run here last season. Right now, though, mired back here in traffic and trying to get himself back into position. He's starting at 3rd spot, and now this has really pushed him really, really far back. So he's trying everything in his power. But, just hearing a little bit of chatter out there, I think a lot of people are feeling pretty good on fuel, but I'm uncertain on who those people are. I'm pretty sure they are a couple laps to good too.
And as we go along and we're riding along with the 25 Trevor Earhart, this guy's just passed the start finish for the beginning of lap 65. So we are about 6 laps away from the stage, and looks like the top 4 have kind of broken away from the rest of the field, created their own separate class. The 56 in front of him, Jason Lumberland, not giving any space to the 13. Cedric Hunter, one of our biggest movers throughout the race. Jason Fensler looks like he's pulled out to his normal 4 or 5 car lead again. So yeah, it seems to me that they've gotten their fuel mark and they are ready to bring it on home to the end of this stage, Zach. So these guys are really racing for all the points they can get.
Yeah, they're racing for everything for sure. Like we said, points always matter. 1 point could be the difference between you win the championship and not being in the championship. It's a clear case here as you look at our top 4. These are guys other than Cedric Hunter who all battle for a championship. James Loveland, Trevor Earhart, and Jason Fensler. So they know how valuable these points could be as they continue to march along here and run a good race. And these top 4 have been somewhat in a stalemate here as Fensler, he's, like you said, had about a half a second gap for majority of this time, and it's just been cruising.
And that's what he makes it look easy, as everyone else behind him. We watched the 13, we're right along with him. He still has that gap there. Excuse me. It looks like Cedric Hunter has been kind of shadowing Jason Fensler in that line just a little bit, trying to get that slipstream, that draft, but just can't make any headway on it. Second, though, from 16th to 2nd is a great feat of his that he's been able to really pull off throughout this race. And as we come on the closing laps at this stage, good to get points no matter where you can get them. But again, the 6th of Mark Whitley started 2nd, back in the 5th, had some issues this stage. So definitely interesting to see what these guys do on pit road and see if any games are played or anything like that plays out.
And also interesting to see when they get new set of tires how much this track has changed out. It's already been drastic so far. As the first run, Jason Fensler pulled a way bigger gap compared to James Loveland and Trevor Earhart for a sec, and now much closer are these two, along with Cedric Hunter and Mark Whitley. He's lost a major amount of time compared to this time. So the track has gone through a little bit of a change here. We're going to see who can really find the speed as they're going to have one more final lap here at the Homestead Miami Speedway for stage number 2.
As we're looking at the weather there, it is really a little chilly. The humidity is down, so I do believe that this track and these cars are going through a change. And I think the Mark Whitley may not have come out on the positive end of that tonight, which is unfortunate. But rides the number 13 of Cedric Hunter, a newcomer, and giving the 5 of Jason Fensler run for his money. It's not a second out or 2 seconds out. I mean, it's only roughly 3/4 of a second between them, so he hasn't really run away from it. I wonder Cedric has something for him in the third stage as we're coming on the conclusion of lap 70 here. Cedric Hunter taking that outside lane, just trying to get that momentum as we see James Loveland in third, 25, Trevor Earhart in fifth, and then Mark Whitley Earnhardt is in fourth and Mark Whitley's in fifth. So here we are, our 4th caution flag of the night. Lap 70, this is the stage 2 break. Thank you for all tuning in with us. We're going to go for a quick commercial break, and we will be back for more freaky fast action. And good evening and welcome back to the Underdog Racing League here at Homestead Miami Speedway. We have had some fantastic racing going with us tonight. The 5 of Jason Fensler is fast as always, but he has a young, and I can't say young, but a newcomer next to him, the 13 of Cedric Hunter. He has not let him get out of his sight and out of his reach. It has been constant racing here at Homestead side by side. We have just come back from our conclusion of stage 2 in our beginning. We are side by side ramping up for stage 3. This third stage is going to run 50 laps, and they do not have a fuel run long enough. We are here in about 32 to 34 laps for this first run. So these guys are getting ready to go here at Homestead as we watch the pace car make the inside dive to pit road as we see the 5 launch, and out of a cannon goes Jason Fenzer, takes the green flag. The start of stage 3 underway as we watch everyone out. Fan 2, 3 wide behind him. Starting the stage 3, lap 70, looks like 3. Here we go. These guys side by side. We see 25 Trevor Earhart already outside. Robert Rader making a move too. Zach, here we go. 50 laps.
Yeah, big moves being already made. If you're going to get something done, you need to get it done now because these are going to be short runs. If you're going to be pitting, you're probably going to be pitting within, I would say, oh man, it's a tough call personally, but I'm looking at pitting within 25 laps here. So this will be one of the shorter runs we've seen all night. You're going to have to use everything in the tire, no saving at all, full bore here down to the end.
And we saw last week at Talladega, some people, it was a very small group of individuals that came to pit road early when that window opened. So a lot of other guys tried to stretch it out and kind of backfired on a couple of them. So you never know what's going to happen, but I know green flag stops are always really, really fun and important here, even more so at a mile and a half, because you make any little mistake, it is so much more amplified on the track. You lose so much more time to the leader. These guys, wow, really fanning the 3 of Sirkovich, gets the inside quarter panel, the 19 of Tyler Dangler. These guys have been going at it all night long, and it just continues on. 2, 3 wide of corner exits. So these guys, we see the 99 of Dylan Walterman, the inside of James Cotrone. We were watching Morales. He was in an incident earlier. Oh, we see the 99 get a little loose there. What a great shot from our in-car on Martin Morales. But definitely these guys are really, really pushing everything to the limit here, Zach.
Everybody going full bore here. If you thought it was 100%, it's definitely 110 now as everybody's cranked it up a notch here. Down the back straightaway, big run from the 38 of Cotrone there as you see. Now Morales, he's going to look to the inside of the 99 of Walterman, but Walterman's going to shut the door. Morales backs out of it, and what great racing this track puts on. Under the lights as always here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I tell you what, you do not want to miss out this weekend. We have this Friday on January 7th in 2 days, just 2 days away from our very own first special update here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If you want to see more action like this, but for 6 straight hours, make sure you tune in here on January 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern, as that's when we're going to be kicking all off our 6 hours of Daytona for diabetes. And remember, we're going to be raising money for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundations to help cure juvenile type 1 diabetes and bring awareness to that great foundation. And we cannot wait to bring it to you. It is going to be, I can't explain it. We are so excited. It's a tingle around here, a great energy and feel as we near that date. And guess what? It's almost less than a day away. So make sure you go down to below in our description, check out the event details with all the event details that you need to figure out how to join the racing. It has an entry form in there. And remember, those entries close tomorrow night on Thursday at 11:59 Eastern. And that will be right before 12 o'clock switches over on the East Coast to Friday. And, man, it's going to be a blast as we got over 40 entries, and it's going to be 6 hours of madness.
Oh, Zach, it's going to be so exciting. Last count, I think I counted 42 entries, so a lot of racing for 6 hours. And to add to the excitement factor, it's multi-class, ladies and gentlemen. So similar, think of like we're watching the Xfinity now, we put the trucks on these tracks with them. So we have GT3s and LMP2s. It's going to be really exciting. But here at Homestead Miami Speedway, we are seeing a lot of action already. The 99 at Dylan Walterman having a loose car, was fast early, had an issue, has not been able to recover any of that speed. But the 19 of Tyler Dangler, he's been caught up in some incidents. He looks like he has a little bit of crumpled fender there in the front, so we know he's been mixing it up as well here. But our Jason Fenzer out to about 4:10 second half, a second lead in front of second place Cedric Hunter. So looks like he's on his old tricks again. But as we watch this, we saw Martin Morales try and make a move on the 19 of Tyler Dangler. It looks like he's going to try and continue that move inside on turn 1. But there is the 99 of Walterman creeping up into the picture again. These guys have got to be getting sick of seeing each other. They have been passing each other left and right tonight. But for the most part, these guys are single file. We saw a lot of this towards the end of the last run. Was the 24 of Nick Alves goes to the outside, trying a little bit of different line, Zach. And if we're going to see these pit stops, I'd imagine they're probably going to start within the next 3 to 4 laps. I think that's when the pit window would open, the fuel window would open for all these drivers. Do you not?
Yeah, I think it's going to start. Oh, man, as we see on screen, Brad Ringer there and Eddie Waterbuck in the 26 here battling for the 10th and 11th position. That was wild stuff. Yeah, I think the pit stop window, it's really going to open here in the next, really at lap 90, I would say you're good to go from there. I mean, 32 to 34 is what we've seen, but I would put with 30 to go. That would probably be the earliest I think we'll see pit stop. So at that lap 90 point, we could start to see him pull off, but I think it'll be around 95, 100 is where you see the majority of the guys stick to. I think at 100 is going to be majority of them, but it could be all over the place. You're going to have different guys pulling all different types of strategies. It's going to be a wild one to watch for sure as we continue to look throughout the field and look at this great racing they will put on here tonight, the Underdog Racing.
And we've seen some guys already. We were running along earlier with the Morales, and we saw some guys get into the wall. So none of these guys are really trying to save anything on their car. They're just really trying to get everything they can. As we see 38 at James Carl Trone get really high in corner entry, kind of comes down later in corner exit, but he's trying to catch that 77 car. Grant Thorpe is in front of him. We see a lot of cars weaving back and forth. Looks like the 99 of Dylan Walterman. I don't know if he was just trying to avoid something or he hit the wall, but he really darted across the track really quickly. So got to keep an eye on that throughout the rest of this run here. But a lot of these guys, to see the 3 of Sirkovich on the inside trying to make a run there. The green car, the 23 of Joey Stiers, he had issues earlier, but he's recovered on the lead lap now. He's making a move. Back here in this pack, things like 15, 16, 17, all back here, all in a cluster. So all these guys trying to make a move, and looks like the 4 of Blake Cook making a run on the inside there too with 84 Kevin Dorsey. These guys are really slicing and dicing, banging and weaving around this track tonight here at Homestead.
They definitely are here, Carl. This is fun stuff to watch. Like I said, from my driver's standpoint, I'm jealous. This is looking like a blast to drive. Is Cody Dorsey here trying to now go to the inside of the 4 of Blake Cook. He's trying to make up some positions in front of Joey Stiers, who had that bad start tonight with that unfortunate network issue. He's also got Dylan Walterman up ahead of him, who's made back to 21st, but still unfortunate for Walterman, was running top 10 and had a major incident.
Yeah, and all those incidents, they creep up on you. And again, the way this field is running, no one's really gotten really out ahead. No lap cars. We only have 1 lap car not on the lead lap tonight. And he was caught up in an incident. I don't think he's no longer on the track, actually. So all these cars that you're seeing, 29 cars at Homestead, we are all in the lead lap and all racing for position. So there's really no rest around this track. These guys have strung out just a little bit. But when you get a run, they're really wanted to take it. As we're watching Eddie Wildermuth, he came from dead last in this field. He was in 30th, and there he is. Looks like just outside that top 10 spot. So these guys really dicing up as we watch the 25 Trevor Earhart make a move for 4th position in front of James Loveland, and right behind him in his tracks, the 8 of Ian Baker. Ian Baker has had a quiet night, but he has slowly and methodically worked his way up there. And it looks like James Loveland may be fading a little bit. He started pretty far up this run. I wonder if Friday maybe got a little too hot on the tires early on, trying to keep up with those first 2 cars.
Yeah, it's very possible this time. He's definitely seeming to struggle, and the guy who's coming forward is Ian Baker. I mean, we've seen Baker, Carl, this is before your time here with this Freaky Fast broadcast, but he used to race at the Underdog Race League in the Truck Series, had very good performances and wins. I believe he won at Texas, so Got to always account for this 8 machine. He could be looking good throughout the season as leveling, but really struggling here with Job coming on.
And definitely we see him kind of wiggle back and forth, so I think he's struggling with all ends of the track here as he goes into 3, kind of really tightening that really coming around the bottom of that corner and not letting that white line get away from him. But Matt Job is heating up that rear bumper as we speak, and they go into 1. Looks like Job is trying to get some of that clean air, maybe work about a half a line above him, at least on corner entry, trying to get the aerodynamics on the front end of that car. But here we are, already going into 3, and he's trying to make that move. We're right there. We see the 25 of Trevor Earhart right in front of us. And we are just barely off that bumper and off that inside line, really. That's where the speed has been. I'm kind of surprised that the outside line hasn't formed and evolved better throughout the night, but this inside line has really improved and kind of surprised me as we see another guy try to make an inside run on that 25, but just can't make it stick.
Yeah, it seems very bottom dominant. I've seen that as the race has trended on, it's got more and more dominant on the bottom. That's just where the rubber is laid, and I can tell you with the tire model, the way we have it here in iRacing, and what I say about tire model, ladies and gentlemen, is the way the tire interacts with the racing surface. It really likes to be on the rubber. Where that rubber lays down, it seems like is the more grippy area, especially with the tire wear. You're going to get less tire wear where there's rubber on the track. And here comes Ian Baker. He's going to make the move to the inside. Can Earhart make the top work? And the thing is, can work, but it's going to be a tough time to make it work every time. But there it is, Baker again on the bottom, making the great pass. And man, that was a advanced move, if you ask me. And let's give a shout out here to Advanced Sim Racing here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, one of our great sponsors and one of the fastest growing North American chassis simulator manufacturers. And man, I tell you what, some of their stuff is amazing. They got every type of brand and product you could want for sim racing, and it can really advance your sim if you would check them out. So make sure you use our discount code FreakyFast5 there, as you see on the screen, spelled out 5. And get you 5% off of any advanced sim racing brand equipment. And I tell you what, you'll definitely be enjoying that. Is it'll help you improve your sim. As Ian Baker all night long, he has been improving. Can he get to Mark Whitley, who's running a little bit quicker than Baker right now? Is little Cedric Hunter, our first taker on pit road. He's going to take the risky call to pit here on lap 95. And I tell you what, I thought 25 to go would be that mark when someone would hit pit road, and the 13 is going to be the first one to do it.
You know, I was watching a little earlier, Brad Ringer and Robert Rader went one more lap in front of them, so these guys are already mixing it up. Strategy looks like 4 tires and fuel for all these cars on track tonight, so interesting as it plays out. Jason Fenzer still out on the track. Our first place car has about a 3-second lead, and as we're watching, looks like we see the 5 of Jason Fensler make his move onto pit road. Didn't look like he locked him up. He had a decent amount of speed, so this should be nice and clean for the 5, which it needs to be. We saw the 13, Justice Hunter, didn't have a lot of space, but here we are. Mark Whitley, he was fighting for the lead earlier, fell back to 5th. He is now cycled out to leader at the moment, but he does need to pit. So these guys are already mixing it up. Mark Whitley in the question mark of whether or not he's going to pit. We are in that window. Broke it out in half, so if he pits now, he can make it all the way to the end, but he looks like he's going to stay on the track. I don't know how good of a move this is because the fall off on these tires is so great. I would not want to give more than 1 or 2 laps to Jason Fensler on fresh tires after a pit cycle.
Yeah, this is going to be critical too. Here's Jason Fensler, here's Mark Whitley, but also Cedric Hunter's up the speed coming behind these two. He's about a 1.5 seconds back. Fensler's going to blend up, and he is going to be ahead of the 13. He did a great job on pit road. He's kept the gap, and man, that is going to be a huge blow to the 13 to know, man, he did it 1 lap later, and he came out exactly the same spot I did. That is a huge gain there for the 5 machine and a huge loss for the 13.
Huge indeed, and right now, if it were to shape out, everyone's trying to make their way onto pit road, he would have been caught a lap down, and I can imagine that would have been a nice little feather in Mark Whitley's cap, keeping Jason Fencer behind you. But there he is, new tires going around the 6 without any incident. That speed is just outrageous, seeing those 2 cars go around it, but that they just unlapped themselves, so they still have a full other lap to get to the bumper of the 6, but the 6 still does have to make a stop down pit road and for fuel and tires. So not much in the cards there at the moment. These guys just trying to grind out some laps and make sure they were faster than the 6, but the longer he stays out, the more time he's going to lose to these fast tires, Zach. I don't understand quite why he would try and stay out here on these old tires, especially with the trouble he's had. Kind of interesting strategy already.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is. And I mean, if he catches a caution, it could work out well, but Cedric Hunter then will have tires. The big thing he'll have is track position. And, you know, that's possibly what he's looking at is a chance here. But man, that's a risky call. He's going to come out so far behind these two. It's going to be a tough one. And I tell you what, there's something new that has changed. You know, Cedric Hunter does have the 1 lap less pressure, but I can confirm he had front nose damage. He had a damaged splitter, a damaged hood. He was running pretty strong with that damage. He got it fixed here on this pit stop. We'll see if it has any type of change to pace to his car or if it was very, unnoticeable. We'll have to see what it does, but we'll see how it affects as this race goes on. But I tell you that 1 lap fresher tires, Spencer's going to have to be feeling confident out front.
Oh, definitely. And the only thing that would hurt is a flag, but really the only one it would hurt would be everyone else a lap down. All right, now there are about 5-6 cars on the lead lap. So if there were to be a caution with the lucky dog, we're talking 6-7 cars. Ooh, as we're watching James Culture on the 38 bounce off that wall going into 1. Definitely not something you want to do. He's going to lose a lot of time to the 24, to the 3, and then it looks like the 9 of Justice Murphy. So he is going to really struggle around this corner and lose a position or two here after the cycle. And he still continues to ride that really high outside line, and that's kind of the risk. You run of running that line, you run into the wall, you damage your car, you lose time. So you definitely want to be careful and confident when running that line.
Yeah, that line, it's a a love-hate relationship, I would say. Sometimes you feel great up there and you're just, man, this is the place I want to be, until it comes out and it smacks the side of your race car, and then you want to leave it. You quickly will put about a half a lane. There's a secret trove put in there. You won't go up as high, and you'll be content to run a little bit lower. But yeah, it's a tough thing to do, running that line. But man, Catrona here dropping back there as Heights goes by in the 21. But Catrona can stay out as Mark Whitley has finally hit pit road. Very interesting call from Whitley here. This is with about 15 to go.
And that is really the only thing I can think of that would benefit is if a caution were to come out all of a sudden. Whitley's on the ace with better tires, but even with the 5, it's only going to be a couple more laps. 5 is still really strong and really fast, as is Cedric Hunter. So still a little confusing on the strategy, but I guess we'll see. We have seen some one-car incidents earlier in the race cause the caution, so definitely possible later on in the stage as people try and fight for every last point before the conclusion, before that checkered flag. We know those points are important. And these guys just want to get everything they can as we watch the 5 and the 13. As the cycles through, they are expected, and looks like Caltron did pit. So the 5 is our leader with about, a little more than a second lead on the number 13 of Cedric Hunter. So these guys closing laps, we're about 15 laps away of our 120 laps scheduled laps here at Homestead. These guys looks like it's shaping up, and Jason Fensler already with a decent lead, but he cannot grow it from Cedric Hunter at this point. So still 15 laps here, Zach. A lot to expect still.
Oh, a lot could play out definitely here, Carl. And Mark Whitley, if he's where he's at right now on the track in the middle of 3 and 4, he wants to see a caution right now, if any caution flies, because he's not going to have, he wants a tire advantage pretty much, and these other guys would most likely pit here if the caution was to come out and he could stay out. But if he goes 4 or 5 laps and then the caution flies, that's the worst case scenario for him. He wants it to go all the way green if the caution doesn't quickly come out here, due to the fact that everybody's going to come down, including him, and it's just going to reset him with everybody. So tough position to be in with him stretching it out this far. He's 13th right now after running in third, 13 seconds back. That shows you how much old tires will slow you down. And with the amount of laps left in this race, he is not making that gap up. He may be able to get back to third, though. Robert Rader, they're 7.3 seconds behind earlier. So right now, Whitley within 7 seconds of him. We'll see what he can do, though, with that gap.
It's definitely going to be a hard, really, really difficult struggle to overcome, but there it is. Fifth caution comes out at Homestead. We are on lap 107. We're about 13 laps to go in this race. We are going to rack them up, and just as you were talking, Zach, caution comes out. This may benefit Mark Whitley, but he is down there in 12th. He has a lot of traffic to traverse in order to make it back up to the front. And I don't know if there's going to be enough laps, but as we go back to our freaky fast instant replay, we watch the 40 machine kind of going through the corner here. Looks like he just loses it on exit. We saw a lot of that. The 84 Cody Dorsey behind him, but we saw a lot of that during practice. And kind of gives a inside wall a good smack. So the looks like going to be some issues and some repairs for the 40 machine, but these guys are going to get gridded up again. The 5 and the 13 fast. Looks like the 5 is going to pit. Don't know about the 13. The 13 is going to pit. So a lot of our leaders deciding to pit on this last caution. So here we go, Zach. Strategy and caution flags starting to mix here at 1.5 miles Homestead, Miami Speedway.
Oh, this is going to get wild here as they hit their pit boxes. They're going to see 4 tires. And, yeah, Whitley, like I said, wanted to see that caution. But at the same time here, he's had 2 up the speed laps on the tires. The difference is going to be a marginal bit. He's going to see if he can hold them off with these tires. He's got to have 2 laps to do it. But, man, it's going to be a tough position for him. Luckily for his sake, though, the 3 of Sekovic stays out also. So he's going to have 2 buddies with him there as the race off pit road happens. And Jason Finsler, he is majorly beat out of pit road somehow here. I don't know if he slid through his box or what. It doesn't look like he did. Just maybe a slower pit stop from the pit crew there. We'll see where he comes out directly. I think Cedric Hunter and Raider were ahead of him. And definitely, I believe Brad Ringer, he may have took 2 tires.
I'm thinking there's a lot of 2 tires because really the green flag stops concluded, maybe 9 laps ago. So we have inside tires aren't going to be nearly as worn as those outside tires. Again, it would be a struggle. You haven't messed with 2 tire stops all night long, but it's one of those strategy plays you got to make if you got to win. And I think a lot of these drivers thought they wanted to beat Jason Finsler. They needed to take 2 tires, but of all the people this helps Mark Whitley, the number 6 machine right there. A lot of tires, old tires, 2 tires in between him and Jason Finsler. So all of a sudden, everything has flipped around. Mark Whitley was in the back having to traverse all the traffic, but here we are. Jason Finsler swaps positions with him, really. So this restart's going to get really interesting. We know how fast that 5 is on the restarts.
Oh, man, I tell you what, this is just with the amount of cars in between the 5 and the 6, this is going to get very, very interesting. We're not even having the 1 to green yet. I tell you what, this race is going to be something special. And I tell you what, also is special out there is one of our sponsors. They've been with us for so ever, and that is ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Oh, I would love to have a ButtKicker right now to listen to the sounds of this next restart. It would be amazing. Make sure you head on over to ButtKicker.com. You can use our discount code FreakyFast20 right there to get yourself 20% off of any purchase there at ButtKicker. And like I said, Carl, this restart here is going to be wild, man. You're going to have so many different factors. Mark Whitley is sitting in a great spot. Yes, the tire advantage going to go to the 5 and the 13 and the 53 back here. But I tell you what, with the traffic, Whitley, and the amount of time, this could very well play out. And I tell you what, this cool down phase, even with this caution, the tires are going to get another rejuvenated life cycle here. I think the 6 may be in the prime spot. This could be Mark Whitley's chance to go back-to-back here.
Oh, back-to-back to start this season would be fantastic for those headlines. They would get everyone buzzing, but here we are side by side. Another car that jumps out at me is that Joey Stiers there in the top 3. He had some issues earlier on, but seems to have recovered, definitely in a good position to maybe push another guy or maybe get that push to the lead. But here we are going into 3 side by side. These guys really itching to go. New tires, old tires, two tires, ladies and gentlemen. This race has not disappointed. We've been able to go 2 and 3 wide throughout the night, and we're going to see more of it. I can guarantee it. But here we are coming out of 3, going into 4. The pace car is going to make the hard left turn onto pit road. Barney has the green flag in hand, ready to wave that flag. So here we go. 10 more laps, 10 to go at Homestead Miami Speedway. Green flag is out. 6 of Mark Whitley gets a fantastic start down the front straightaway. He's going to go alone into turn 1 with everyone else behind him having to go 3 wide. Look at that. The 23 and the 38 go around the 3. They split the 3. The 84 of Cody Dorsey right there on the bottom, but there's the 5 of Jason Fensler, the 13 of Cedric Hunter. Cedric Hunter's actually in front. It looks like he is going to block the 5's run there. He's going to box him in as we go into 3. The 6 of Mark Whitley has checked out. He is gone, but here we go. Oh, the 84, Cody Dorsey kind of has to check up. Oh, forces all these other guys to check up. Jason Fensler's going to get the inside lane off the 13. Going into 1. Wow, here we go. Going 3 wide into 1. We have the 84, 13, and the 5 all right there. All fast cars. This is the first time the 5 has been in traffic all night long, but he is making it work. Both of those cars there have new tires. Looks like the 53 Rubber Ridge is going to take the inside line. Again, 3 wide going into 3, but Jason Fensler not giving up, and they are banging doors right there against the 53. Oh, we have the 3 of Sirkovich get turned by the 5. We have an issue down in turn 4. Oh, this really shakes things up, Zach.
What kind of racing was that? That was extraordinary right there between that group of guys. I mean, Raider and Hunter leaning on each other. We're going to check that replay. I think Sekovich comes up into the 5 machine, and Jason Fensler there and just turns himself across his nose.
And as we pull up the freaky fast instant replay, oh, looks like, yeah, the 3 kind of lost the rear grip there, kind of had to follow it up the track. The 5 of Jason Fensler he just has the position, and there's really just nowhere for the 3 to go. Gets turned into that outside wall there. Big damage to the 3, big damage to the 5. I don't know about the 13. I don't know if he was able to get through there, but looks like the 8 of Ian Baker, the 99 of Dylan Walterman takes a wallop right there. Oh man, but it looks like good news for our defending series champ in the 25 of Trevor Earhart. Looks like he was able to get through unscathed. But here we go again. We have another restart. So cautions breed caution, Zach. What do you I couldn't have expected that last time, but what are you expecting this next restart?
It's about to get even more crazy now because Mark Whitley, he had a great gap. He did a great job. He was looking for that thing to go green. It was going to be his race to lose. Catrone also was running well. Stiers also. But, man, this is going to put it back in the hands of Cedric Hunter. He made it through that without damage. Somehow, luckily, escaped his way through. I don't know how that car did and made it through. Same with Robert Raider there, the 53, those 2 on the bottom. And I tell you what, Jason Fensler, you got to feel for that guy, man. What a drive it was here tonight in that 5 machine. He had to come back down to pit road here, get his fast repair. He's going to be mired way back in the field and not get the greatest finish, but he can take home that he got those 20 stage points to help him get a better points finish here tonight. So he'll still get some great points, probably a top 5 points night overall, maybe a top 3 still points night with those stage points. But, man, you got to feel for that guy. That was just going for it on new tires, and the older tires were having a tough time trying to hold them off, and that's just unfortunate side effect of racing there.
And that's a key example of track position is key. If Jason Fensler only took the 2 tires, or didn't pit at all, he wouldn't have been back there. He wouldn't have had to trying to make those moves. So once again, that was for 5th, 6th spot, but definitely interesting, and it's going to happen, and it's going to happen to anyone. So you never know what move and what pass is going to make to, get you in that situation. But even the fastest have their days, and it looks like Jason Fensler is going to have another start in the back of the field, beginning of this green flag run.
The start Meyer back in the pack for sure is Jason Fensler. So I think his chances, unless something crazy happens, is going out the window for a win here tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway. So it's got to take it to next week there on week number 3 if he wants to get himself a win. But, man, Mark Whitley, what a call from him strategy-wise to get into this position. and he has been able to pull himself up here. And it looks like we might have lost the 23 of Joey Stiers also due to some network issues. Oh no, actually, I think he just came back on the track, but definitely having some network issues. He's going to be starting third. We seen earlier, it caused the incident earlier. This could cause something here. This is going to be an interesting scenario. But Catron going to be starting on the outside. Looks like with Whitley on the bottom. This is going to be re-racked back up. Man, this is going to be a crazy restart. Everybody at home, thank you all for tuning in as always. It's been a pleasure to call the action alongside you here tonight, Carl. We're going to re-rack them for possibly the final time here tonight. Have 3 to go when we go to green. Catron going to start on the outside. We got to watch for that 13 to 53 on the new tires. It's about to get super spicy.
And we saw the 13 make it 3 wide before as he was racing Jason Fensler, trying to work his way through the traffic. Right now, he's at his greatest position. As you see going down the backstretch, he is in fourth, essentially. But the second row outside, he has the newest tires of all those top 3 cars, those top 4 cars. So definitely he's going to be wanting to put those to work as we go into turn 3. These drivers trying to warm up those tires to get the best restart they can. But as we get closer to the start-finish line, the pace car is going to hit pit road. We are going to have 3 to go at the flag, a 3-lap sprint finish. This is going to be fun to watch, ladies and gentlemen, as the green flag waves, and we are now green and gassing down the front straightaway at Homestead. We see the 13 of Cedric Hunter go to the inside behind the 23 of Joey Stiers, the 6 of Mark Whitley, making the run through 1 and 2 all single-handedly, but behind him is just a gaggle of cars that want that spot. But the 23 of Joey Stiers, we noticed some network issues earlier, but looks like he's going to get it all. Oh, looks like the 13 is going to get into the back of Joey Stiers, and he's going to send him up the track just a little bit. Wow, it was great driving not to go and have any contact there besides the initial bumper to bumper. Looks like Cedric Hunter's going to take second spot. Coltrane, who started outside front row, is going to fall down to fourth. Oh, as we see the 53 get into the 13. Oh, the corner there. Here we go. Looks like the 38 is going to stay off the wall, still favoring that really high line. But the 53 is going to try and get to the inside of the 13, going to the back straightaway.
Well, down the back straightaway here, Cedric Hunter on the outside, fighting strong. You got a 30 under control. He's looking to the outside of that 13 to 53, and the 13 beat and bang here off of the exit here. You're going to see the freaky fast white flag here of Mark Whitley leading the way.
And here we go, Mark Whitley down into 1, but looks like Cedric Hunter's going to take that second place away from the 53 of Robert Rader. Robert Rader not giving it away, though. He's going to still heat up the bumper of the 13. We see the 13 still kind of keep pace and really using that bottom line as he has done all night long. Going into turn 3 for the final time tonight. Robert Raiders just cannot get to the bumper of the 13. The 13 has been on a march all night long as we have the checkered flag out and waving. Mark Whitley's going to win the race here at Homestead Miami Speedway. He's going to go back-to-back here at the Underdog Racing League. Oh, that is fun to watch as we see the 13 try a little Tokyo drifting around there. But congratulations to the 6 of Mark Whitley, making it 2 races in a row off the strategy.
What a call from the 6. It put him out front and in control of the race. And that's what we seen tonight. Having control of that lead was so critical. Jason Fitzler had it much of the night, but the 6 machine of Mark Whitley comes up clutch and gets race win number 2 of the season and only his second start at the Underdog Racing League. This guy, I tell you what, he knows how to get the checker flag, that's for sure.
And that's all that matters, is leading that last lap. I think Jason Fans is going to get the points for the most laps led, but ultimately winning the race, all those points are going to go to the 6 of Mark Whitley. He did have a top at least 5 both of those stages, so we did talk about Jason Fandler's good point night, but I think someone who had a better point night is that number 6 right there.
I definitely think so. He is on fire for sure. Man, what a night again for Mark Whitley and the 6 machine. As he burns it down here, I think we're going to be getting our top 3 up here as we'll step away and get ready for our post-race interviews. All right, we're back here, everybody, at Freaky Fast Broadcasting after that wild start to the season we've had here. That's the race number 2 at the Homestead Miami Speedway, first mile and a half of the season, and it was a great one nonetheless to say. So it was so fun to watch. We're going to bring up our top 3 drivers up here to have a quick chat with them about their race here tonight. And the first up is our 53, the third place driver here, Robert Rader. Let's hear from him about his drive. Hey, Robert, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Yeah, I got you, Zach.
Well, man, I tell you what, a great finish there for you tonight, man. Able to bring home that 3rd position. Ran around that top 5 position after working your way up in there in that first stage, man, and kind of held on to it from there. And then it got really, really wild with how all the ending there with the caution, man. Take us through that ending because it's got to feel good to bounce back here tonight to get that 3rd place finish after a tough week at Daytona.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the car was not great, and then it was worse after we got a little damage there at one point. Meant to fix it with a fast repair and never turned the fast repair on. So went back out there with 30 seconds of damage on it, and it was just a matter of time. So got lucky that the caution fell when it did, and then after that, it was just a mad scramble with the guys on tires trying to get up through there. And I mean, I probably made a couple of people mad on the way through. I think a couple people made me mad. It was just kind of what it was at that point, and we just couldn't get it figured out in time to catch Mark.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed like that clean start for him up there gave him the gap that he needed with the tires he had to be able to hold the group off there. Like you said, it was a mad dash, and everybody definitely taking what they felt like they needed to get to the front there, man. But you're able to pull yourself up here for a top 3, man. As we head off the Gateway next week, you know, a definite different style racetrack. You know, sometimes we even see people shift there, and you know, 2 different style corners. How you feel about heading off in the next week in the Gateway, man?
Feeling all right. I haven't done a lot of driving since the end of last season in these cars, so there's a little bit of dust to kick off there, I think. So we'll see what Gateway has for us. I don't think I've ever driven this car there, so I always say I'll practice, but I never do. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, man, I tell you what, I'm definitely be interested to see how you can drive it there next week. Is man, you look strong here tonight. Definitely knocking the dust off in a good way for sure. So, congrats on the top 3 finish here tonight, man. Before we let you get out of here, anybody want to send a shout to?
Just my family. Got to give a shout out to them, and then also all the guys at 4 Star. It was a really up and down night for the team. I think my night was pretty relaxed by comparison to some of the other guys. So I think we ended up with a decent result for Joey, so that's cool. And Kevin got kind of stuck in the melee there, but you know, it's nice to get the season started. And I want to thank you guys for the broadcast as always.
Well, Robert, man, congrats on 3rd, man. Thank you for the warm welcomes, and we will catch you next week, hopefully at Gateway, possibly back in the top 3, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. That was your 3rd place driver here tonight, Robert Rader into 53. We're going to move ahead to our 2nd place driver, his debut here in the Underdog Race League. The 13 is Cedric Hunter. Drove his way up from that 16th starting spot, so he was talked about a majority of the night as he was moving his way through the field, as we had a few drivers definitely get some good finishes from farther back, but he was one of the drivers definitely to note, as we'll be bringing him up here now to hear what his thoughts are on his 2nd place finish here. Hey, Cedric, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, I do. How's it going?
Well, it's going great up here in the booth. Great finish for us, man, for sure. As that was wild all the way down to the end. And, man, definitely, you know, a possible shot at a victory here tonight, but bringing home a 2nd place finish for a debut can't be too bad for yourself.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was. I haven't ran these cars in years, so tonight was kind of a good practice or test or whatever to see kind of where I'm at. I'm happy though with the 2nd place finish. If that thing would have went green, I would have finished 2nd behind Fensler anyways. Like, he was really, really fast, and I couldn't figure out how to save the right front myself. So you know, it's still something I'm gonna have to work on, especially in these cars. But it was a really good race. The finish was crazy. Had a few taps there with the guys on older tires and stuff like that, and it was just insane. And I think that myself, Fensler, and I think it was Robert, I believe, kind of just all battling to be that first guy with the fresh tires, because like, if we're able to clear all the guys or majority of them with old tires, I think that would have been the person to win the race. and just kind of all three of us battling, going three wide, and then Fensler getting caught up, kind of more or less sealed it for us. So it was a good win to Mark. He's got an absolute golden horseshoe. Every single time he plays or he does like a wonky strategy, it seems to always play off for him. So, I mean, good job to him. He was pretty quick. Just he just had the right kind of luck tonight.
Yeah, definitely the luck on his side, my friend. Able to pull off that victory for himself here back to back. But I tell you what, great debut for you nonetheless here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Now next week you'll head off the Gateway. I know you definitely don't have a lot of experience there, and it's definitely one of those oddball tracks. Will that be one that you expect though to be figuring out most of the race, or you feel like you can get up to speed pretty quickly?
Oh no, it's gonna be 100% figuring it out. Uh, it's gonna, I guess, like, what would you qualify that? Like a short track, I guess, or like a mile track. So it's gonna be interesting. I did a race there maybe a month ago in the K&N cars, and that went okay. And I'm assuming that these cars will drive very similarly. So yeah, I would say like I'll probably have top 10 pace, but I don't expect to go in there and win. Um, like I was telling my teammates and stuff like that throughout that race, it's gonna take me a while before I start winning races, and you know I need to get a footing in these cars and then racing with these guys, and it's a completely different package and stuff like that I'm used to. So the speed and the races will come, but for now I'm just learning my footing and getting a grip of the whole situation.
Well, Cedric, I tell you, buddy, congrats on the second place finish here tonight. It's been fun to watch you battle your way through from that 16th starting spot and get yourself a second place finish tonight. Before we let you get out of here, though, anybody wants to send a shout to?
Absolutely. I want to give a huge shout out to my Category 5 teammates. Yourself, Collie, Brian, Nick, Larry, Hunter, uh, Vincent, and Tom Suncheck. Huge shout out to everyone. Thank you all to all the fans out there tuning to Freaky Fast. Thank you to you guys at Freaky Fast, and all the league drivers and admins for allowing me to come and race. Again, the end of the race was a little wild, and there was a little bit of banging and rubbing and stuff like that. And I don't want to come in here and ruffle any feathers. So hopefully there's no hard feelings. And we can go out to Gateway and have another great race.
Hey, well, congrats, like I said, on second place, and we will catch you out there again on Wednesday night here at the Underdog Racing League at Gateway.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, everybody. That was your third place driver, or second place driver. Sorry, it was Cedric Hunter and the 13 Machinist. Now we're going to move on to our Freaky Fast Broadcasting race winner here tonight of Mark Whitley. What a drive it was for him. Man, 2 in a row. And tonight you could say, it was definitely one of those times where he struck the strategy just right as it played. Let's hear from the 6 machine as he goes back to back. Mark, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
I got you loud and clear, Zach.
Well, I tell you what, buddy. Sometimes it's just your night, and you gotta say tonight the strategy definitely fell your way. And the 6 machine had a lot of speed, but that strategy tonight, man, what a call that had to be, and what a great smile that has to put on your face.
Yeah, I probably look like a genius right now, but honestly, it was just me kind of. I knew I couldn't beat them on speed. They had me on long run, short run, so I was second, third place car the whole night. So I knew that last run everybody's going to have to pit. So I just decided, all right, I had an idea when I was going to pit, and then Cedric pitted a couple laps before I was going to. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll just stay out a little bit longer. And then the leader, 5 Fensler, he pitted like the lap after. So I'm like, all right, well, let's just throw something at the wall here and just run this another 10 laps or so, and just hope for the best. I was hoping for a caution when I stayed out, maybe trap them a lap down, but pitted a couple laps later, caution came out, and obviously at that point I made my bed, so I was just going to lay in it and stayed out. A couple of cars behind me stayed out. Some people took 2, stuck those guys far enough back, and I just kind of drove the wheels off of it through those couple of restarts and was just trying to get the get out of town, pretty much just get away from them, because I knew they were going to be coming on those fresh tires, and it worked out. We didn't have the fastest car all night, but sometimes being lucky is better than good.
Man, you couldn't have said it better myself there. It's definitely always great to get those strategy wins. And, just the right time. And like, it's almost like you see the future, but like you said, it was just something to play something different and have a different shot at. And you put yourself in that boat, and now you're here in victory lane, my friend, for the second time you're at the Underdog Race League in 2 starts. That's got to feel great. Can we make it 3 for 3 at Gateway? How's the experience level there, and what do you feel about going into next week?
I'm not sure. I've only run that track a couple times and haven't been a huge fan of it the couple times I've run there. But we'll see. Not sure how this car is going to go. I know that track's it's like, kind of like a flat Darlington, and I don't know, I'm really curious to see how these drive. I don't think they're going to drive very good, but maybe we can go out there and put on a good show. Start 3 in a row. That'd be a heck of a way to start out a new league. I know somebody jokingly said last week, I shouldn't win them all, but I didn't expect to win this one. But just keep rolling with it. Maybe that golden horseshoe will stay put where it's at, and as Cedric said, and I don't know. Let's just see what we can do.
Well, man, you're definitely on a roll, my friend. Definitely a big win here again tonight at Homestead for race win number 2 of the season in round number 2, and your second start also. So, like I said, maybe you can just win them all, man. But you never know. We'll have to see next week at Gateway. Before we let you get out of here, though, Mark, and go celebrate and get ready for Gateway next week. Anybody want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, big shout out sponsors, Harpoon Design, putting this great, beautiful paint scheme together. Got Angry Duck graphics on the hood. It's a graphics website. You can go in there, make a t-shirt. No order limit, so if you just want to go in there and make a t-shirt real quick, you can go in there, order one of them if you want. No order limit, so it's shopangryduck.com. And big shout out to all my family, always tuning in, always being a great support group. Couldn't do it without them. They're always behind me, win, lose, draw. And this league, we had a little bit of issues at the end with some restarts, but I mean, that's just hard racing. But for the most part, this whole race went pretty clean and green. And you know what? It's been a pretty good lead. I'm glad I've joined it here.
Well, Mark, we're glad you joined too, buddy. You've been able to put on a good show for us so far. Congrats, like I said, again on the win, and we will catch you next week at Gateway, man.
All right, sounds good, guys.
All right, everybody. That was your race winner here tonight of Mark Whitley in the 6th machine as he's able to bring home race win number 2 this season here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. As he burns it down there still on the screen, we're going to be looking to bring up our race results and see where your favorite drivers were able to end up tonight. As we look through here, our freaky fast top 10, you're going to see Mark Whitley there again pulling that victory off. 2nd place going to go to Cedric Hunter. 3rd is going to be Robert Rader. 4th place going to go to James Catrone. 5th is going to be Brad Ringer. 6th is our defending series champion Trevor Earhart. 7th, Joey Stiers after that slide from the bump from 13 there at the end. 8th is going to be James Loveland. 9th is going to go to Dylan Waltman. And rounding out that top 10 is Nick Alves here in the 24s. We look through the rest of the field. Definitely some eye-opening finishes for a few guys, and I think the one that looks out the biggest and the most bold, that 16th place finish for Jason Fiddler, the winner of stage 1 and 2, maximizing those stage points here tonight, but unfortunately caught up in an incident between him and the 3 of Jacob Sefcovic here tonight. That's going to bring him back to the 16th position and definitely in a bigger hole, but still those stage points will help that gap for him. As we look at the rest of the field, those were the race results here tonight at the Underdog Racing League for the Homestead Miami Speedway. What a race it's been here tonight. I love this track, first of all, everybody. This is one of my favorite tracks by far. And I think it did not, what would they say? I guess it did impress. So, it's one of those things that it always seems to perform well. And especially with this car, it was just a blast to call. Carl, any final thoughts from you, buddy, before we get out of here tonight?
Man, starting the season with back-to-back, wins for the number 6, a newcomer to the league. The 5 of Jason Fensler, who's always been dominant, led the most laps, got caught up in an incident. It's just this season is just really, really already winding up. We're only 2 races in, but already winding up to something really spectacular and some really crazy racing later on. So definitely excited for Chicago next week. So everyone tune in next week, same time, same place. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Come and check us out next week. We're gonna have the same action, the same drivers. It's gonna be nuts. Everyone check in. I promise you're not gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, they definitely will not be disappointed. And don't forget about also tomorrow night we'll be live, and then also on Friday night we have our 6-hour again Daytona for diabetes. Remember to check out down below in the description if you want to get involved in that race. Is the about 24 hours from now, those signups will be closing. So get in there before they do, and you definitely want to be involved in this great cause here. But before we close out the broadcast tonight, we're going to send it up to our producer, Robert Moyer Jr., to close this whole thing out.
All right. Well, thank you, Zach, and thank you, Carl. Much appreciated. Well, congratulations to Mark. As you can see, he's getting back-to-back wins, and man, what a race this guy had. As you know, it was something else to see, if you ask me. There, Carl and Zach. This guy right now, like Cedric Hunter said, he's man, he's got a golden horseshoe going on right now. In multiple leagues, he's been running up front, and just everything's been clicking for this guy here lately. So, I'm sure somebody's going to be able to knock him off his pedestal, like we like to say every once in a while. That streak will eventually come to an end. Right now, he's got the racing gods behind him, but we got Cedric Hunter, Rob. That's got really fast. Don't forget about Trevor, fast in this league, and all these other drivers down through the list. They're going to give him a run for his money, and I see this season here at Underdog Racing League, not that the past couple seasons weren't really hard battling from everybody, but I see this season being one of beating and banging, and everybody racing and scrapping for points, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens as we move on here on the next couple weeks here with these guys. But with, like Zach said and Carl said, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, we will be live tomorrow with Stars and Stripes, and then also on an oddball night, we got January 7th. We got like Zach said, our Daytona 6-hour event, huge event, and I cannot say thank you to everybody out there that has go back and watch this stream or has watched it live. The support we have gotten and the work that our admins have put into this, as Brian Johnson, Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, everybody that has put the time and effort to put this together, I do much appreciate it. It's going to be a great event, so make sure that you go to Freaky Fast Broadcasting's YouTube page. The stream is already scheduled. It's already up there. Hit that share button. Share it to your favorite social media platforms. Get it out there. Let's see if we can break some records and get a lot of views for the next 6 hours when we go live at 9 o'clock. And see what these guys can do. Like Carl said, multi-class racing. You got the GT3s. You got the LMP2s. Man, it's going to be awesome. But with that being said, from here at Homestead and the crew here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as Robert A. Moyer, Zach Hall, and Carl, we always want to say, everybody, have a blessed night, and we will talk to you in the next stream. God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.